Welcome back. So I know it's been a while. I got a nice short easy one for you today. What we're going to be doing is using these industrial automation style components, of course on a DIN rail, in conjunction with this PID temperature controller to try and repair this 2010's fireplace insert. So because I wasn't originally anticipating making a video about this, I've already kind of done half of the work, and now it's time for us to just step in and take control. So let's talk about the flame effects. So there's the mirror motor going. Now I've run positive into one side of all of these boards. All we have to do now is hook up ground to each individual thing. So first I'm going to hook up the flame effect. That's like the main flame effect we're seeing there. Next we're going to hook up the embers and the logs out front. So you'll see them glowing now. And lastly, I'm going to hook up the blue lights. Blue lights, what are those for? Well, you'll see there's a little shelf here that keeps them really low, and that gives you like a blue effect real close to the logs, and then orange and red as the flames go out. It looks all right. So we got lights. Naturally, we got to run power. Now, I'm using the original power cord that came with this thing, and it's pretty short, so that means I got to mount the breaker basically right here and nowhere else. So my thought, I'm going to use 2 rib nuts right into this thin sheet metal, mount the mini DIN rail back there. We're styling. So now with the breaker taken care of, I'd like to mount the items for our control panel. I think I'm going to put them right here where the original control panel was. I mean, that makes sense, right? So what does that entail? Well, first I got to make a couple strategic cuts here and get rid of this bit of mesh. As soon as that's gone, we're moving in the copper plate. I got a nice thick one. This is where we're going to mount all of our controls. So first I need to cut it to size and get it mounted right here. And then I need to make some holes in it so we can mount our on-off switch, our heat call indicator, and of course our temperature controller. Here it is, all done. So that means I just need to bolt this thing in. We got to run the wires, run some tests, and then I got to run my ass to bed because I'm tired. So you might notice the first time around I showed the wiring diagram. There's going to have to be a lot of splices in here to make everything work the way I want it to. And sure, there are DIN rail components that can help with that, but there just isn't really the real estate in here for me to use those. So I'm going to have to go with an old standby. We got some 100% prime wagoo beef right here. And just like that, I got all my hots run. It's looking pretty spicy in there, but I still got to run the neutrals and add a bunch more wagos. So we'll see what that looks like. Now, this is a time-consuming process. I got to put the wire in, bend it a little, take it out, check it, put it in, bend it some more, so on and so forth. So let's just skip ahead until I got that all done. Look at that. So we've got our neutrals run. We got the mirror motor hooked up, timer, contactor, 12 volts for the LEDs. I had to solder a little bit onto the wires to make them a little more robust. And that's about it, man. It's time for me to pop this front grill on. Then we're going to talk about this timer relay real quick before we get into the testing. So I'm using it as an off delay, as I mentioned earlier. That's this E section right here. If you look at this, the top is the line in. So whenever the heat comes on up here, you'll see the fan will also come on, but then after the heat shuts off, the fan stays on. So we're going to set this to E, so that happens. But now how long does it stay on? Well, I'm going to go for 10 seconds. So I set that to 10, and then I want it to run for 100% of those 10 seconds. So we set that one to 100, and that's it. All right, so I've checked everything over. All our connections are secure. There's no loose wires. Everything's hooked up the right way. The breaker in the back is on. Let's go ahead and fire her up. Bam, I've already got a call for heat. That shouldn't be blinking though. Weird. Oh boy. Okay, something's not right there. Well, that was kind of crazy. So I played around with this for a little bit. Turns out there's something wrong internally with it. So until I can get a replacement, I'm just going to have to go ahead and set it to permanently on. And then what I did was remove the power, and I've used the trigger to complete the power circuit. So now it just comes on when the heat comes on and shuts off when the heat shuts off. Kind of disappointing, but this is only a 1300 watt heater, so it's not that crazy. Let's call for heat. Make sure everything works. Okay. So far, so good. But you don't have to take my word for it. We're blowing 170 degrees over here. So I think I'm just going to let this thing run for a little bit, and then we can do some temperature checks, look for hot spots, loose connections, all that fun stuff. So far, all of our splices are nice and cold, and the hottest component is this relay, or the contactor, which is still under 80 degrees, really surprising. So now I wanted to test the temperature controller and see how accurate it is. So I'm reading about 58, maybe 59, and it's 59 and a half. That's pretty close. It's within a degree. I think I'll leave it. And the whole setup still draws a little less than 12 amps, so we're well under our 15 cap. So lastly, I gotta check all of my terminals, make sure they're all nice and tight, do one final tug test on all the wires, Now that our testing has been completed successfully, I can permanently affix these wires. I'm going to pop on that heat shrink, and then I got the probe mounted. So, take one last look at our wagoo stew before I close this thing up. Well, that's a wrap. We got it all back together. Let's go ahead and power on one last time and put in one more call for heat just for good luck. Now, if anybody's interested in the wiring diagrams, I'm going to go through those really quick at the end. But otherwise, let's listen to this puppy purr one last time. Oh, actually, what is that noise? You guys hear that? Sounds to me like, we'll see you next time. Components that are designed to help with that, but there just isn't enough real estate in here for me to use that. So I think I'm going to have to go with an absolute classic. Lettuce, cheese, mayonnaise, and onions. Oh no. Sounds like it sounds to me like power comes out of the wall, first thing it hits, 16 amp breaker. That's this guy right here. Fun fact about him, red is actually good since it was made in China. Green means it's tripped. Continuing on, you'll see 30 amp, 125 volt, that's this Cutler hammer toggle switch. I got a good quality one since it's making breaking contact with the entire unit. Continuing on some more, we see a mirror motor, AC to DC. Now, mirror motor is this guy back here, spins this bar of mirrors. AC to DC is this guy right here. He's giving us 12 volts to run all those LEDs down on the bottom. Continuing on, we finally get into some stuff that may be obvious for a heater. Temperature controller. That's this guy right here. He's monitoring the temperature in the room, and when it gets too cold, he turns on. What happens? Well, there's a splice, so 3 things happen, actually. 1, call indicator, let you know that the heat is coming. 2, contactor. That's just a relay meant for high amperage. 3, timer relay. Now, timer relay I'm going to set up as an off delay. That way, when the heat comes on, the fan comes on, but then when the heat shuts off, the fan will stay on for a determined amount of time.